So this is Coffee and Donuts, the host talk show. We've spoken, or I've spoken before to Rob, but the other host and someone who's on week in, week out, I'm always pleased to be playing before him because he always plays amazing sets from his just unbelievably superb record collection. So I'm always pleased to go before him. But he's been there from pretty much the beginning. He's been on pretty much every show apart from a couple like me. And yeah, he's definitely one of the amazing hosts of the show. So without further ado, here we go. It's Fatwax45. How you doing, Marky?
I'm good, thank you very much. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I was away at a festival this weekend, so sort of still still recovering from that, but it's all good.
Yeah, I see some pictures from the festival. It's Boom, is it Boom Fest.
Boomtown, yeah, I haven't
Yeah,
even processed mine yet. Yeah, there's so much going on. I bumped into Dom from the Next Men, so that was quite nice.
yeah,
And Kiko Bun, so it was good to have a quick chat to him. Yeah, there might be some 45s at some point coming out, which will be quite interesting. We'll see what happens. But
yeah,
yeah, so we're heading up to 100 shows. I mean, I can't quite believe it. 2 years and 100 shows. And I thought it'd be a good time to sort of have a bit of a chat and just sort of discuss what we've done really for 2 years, because it's been, I think it's been pretty amazing and pretty crazy at the same time, really. And what do you think?
yeah. Uh, it's a bit of a weird one, isn't it? Because like it's basically now a breakfast show.
Yeah,
Like we have people that tune in, week out, every Saturday morning, like they would have done to a radio show in the morning. I know before I started doing this, I used to listen to Huey Morgan.
that's exactly what
So
Lee said. That's exactly what Lee
and
said. Lee said that as
it,
well.
it was just a case of listening to Radio Six in the morning. You put that on, and I kind of listened through that, and then obviously with the Twitch thing, the pandemic that always gets mentioned, obviously, which is why we all started moving on to there. It started to become us doing a Saturday morning show. I mean, like you said, you and Rob, with yourself mainly heading the Twitch thing for us, and then coming on board, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, you said, oh, we'll do a Saturday morning, which was his Saturday evening show, because obviously he's in Australia. And I think you did one, maybe two.
I think,
Of
yeah, I
these,
think you're right. Yeah, I think it was one or two, and I think that you've just reminded
I
me
think I,
why we did it on a Saturday morning, because it was the time when I could do it and he could do it because of the time difference in Australia.
yeah,
And that's why it became a Saturday morning show in the UK. But
yeah.
yeah,
And then I think it was either one or two, and then obviously I got invited because I was already on Twitch with Sam,
yeah,
Tommy, Danny, and Cy Vulture, and doing bits with those. So, and then
because it was cool.
you invited me as a guest, and I actually don't know what it was called.
I was looking back at some of the flyers. I think we started off calling it something like Breakfast 45s, I think, or something like that, which sort of made sense in the UK but didn't make sense in Australia. And
Yeah,
then yeah, Robert said to me we should get Marky on board, and I was like, yeah, cool, let's do that. We got you on board. And like when you fall into a new relationship, you sort of stay at someone's house and then you never leave.
yeah.
And you sort of join the show and you haven't left.
Yeah, yeah. I think I do actually remember that. I think, obviously, between the three of us, with what was happening with the collective and stuff like that, I
Yeah.
think I just said I really enjoyed that. Is it all right if I just jump in on every Saturday morning?
And
So I
we were
sort
like,
of
yeah.
like wedged my way in anyway.
But then it was you who said we need to come up with a different name, and you were like, well, coffee in the morning, donuts, coffee and donuts is the thing, let's do it that. So then we got the name, which was cool. And at
Yeah,
that stage the original flyer was I think it was a bowl of a bowl of small donuts and then like a coffee cup or something like that. And I think
yeah.
your
It was very,
your
very
phrase was
colourful from
like,
what I remember.
you were like, we're not a patisserie, we should have a decent
Yeah,
flyer that sort of reflects what we do. And so then we had
yeah.
a bit back and
We
forth,
kind
didn't
of
we,
did, but
designing flyers. And then Rob
yeah,
said, right, I'll get someone to do one. And then he came back with this Blue Note amazing thing that we've used ever since from Leroy. So big shout out to
yeah,
Leroy, Lee, for putting together the flyer, which I sort of keep messing with each week and slightly change the format, but the basics are there, and it's amazing flyer, and it stood the test of time.
yeah. Well, the good thing about it, I mean, obviously we changed. It's always kind of been blue, and then I
Yeah,
think we talking to Dom. I think we had Dom on one morning and we
yeah.
changed it. Did you invert it and it came
I
out a
think I
yellow and black?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was sort of inverted yellow. So we did that for him, and I think we did that for maybe Andy Smith when he was on as well. And then I changed it again. I made it when I did a couple of the like late night coffee and donut shows where we had some of the American DJs. Again, I sort of made it like a slightly
Yeah,
darker format. And then other than that, it's been the same. We've done obviously a couple of the specials, like the 80s special, the 90s special. The first anniversary.
yeah,
They've sort of tweaked them a little bit, but again, it's a brilliant design, and we're still using it, which is 2 years down the
yeah.
line is brilliant.
And I mean, it's two ways of things, isn't it? I mean, yeah, you could change it every week, but um, it's recognisable, isn't it? I mean, we put
Yeah,
it up on social media, and if you see the blue thing, it's pretty much instant recognisable that we're doing something on a Saturday morning, and we're
yeah,
just promoting said different DJs. That's kind of it. I mean,
yeah.
why break something that isn't broken? It
Exactly,
does what it
exactly,
does what it says on the
exactly.
tin, doesn't it? Really.
No,
So
exactly. And
um,
it was good the way we started, because it was obviously me and Rob. Then obviously we had one guest to start with, and then we did it with you, and then we started having another guest. So then it got to 4 hours, and then after that we're like, well, let's add a second guest. So then it's gradually expanded, and for quite a lot of time, when certainly when Rob was doing the early set, it was 5 hours on a Saturday morning. We've done some longer sessions more
yeah,
recently, but it's quite a lot of content. Um, and I think for me, it was great getting all these DJs, these guest DJs who perhaps hadn't streamed before, or I hadn't seen play before. And I really
yeah.
enjoyed doing that. It was great.
Yeah, I mean the thing was, I mean it was again with I mean how many people was in the collective at the time? I mean was 100, 200 people at the time, and
Yeah,
we started asking people if they're ready to stream. Are they able to stream? Do they have the equipment to stream? And it started from there. And I mean, obviously now what we're 900,000 people in there, and so many more different DJs on Twitch, especially with people like yourself who are on there a lot.
yeah,
I mean, in the beginning, I quite honestly was on there myself so often, just watching,
oh
because
yeah,
at
definitely,
the
yeah,
time, I mean, it was just like, it was like, oh, I can watch Flip Out, I can watch Scratch Bastard, I can watch
exactly,
Chelsea GF, and I'm in my front room and I'm in me where my records are, and
yeah,
I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. So obviously, then it's just a case of just seeing all these great DJs who some from like say were bedroom DJs that have never ever played out before,
yeah,
and then they're coming against all the other people that have play out weekly themselves. So it was always great, and I mean, and the fact is as well, you've got people that are giving their time up, A, to sort the records out before that hour, B, to play
yeah,
that hour. So
and then hang around in
and
the
then they're
chat
in the chat,
afterwards as
and
well.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, obviously the chat makes it what it is.
yeah,
The chat is brilliant, but as time's gone by, and I mean, I was one of the first to say it sort of thing. I ended up using it as a radio, and I do
Yeah.
You do see it now lull a lot in the chat where people are getting on with I mean, everybody, I mean, especially in the UK, everybody's going out at the moment. It's so bloody hot. No one wants to stay in their house anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
We're going to make the
and then
most of it
you've
while we
got,
have this weather.
yeah, we do. And I mean, obviously, you get people that'll pop in the chat just going, oh, I'm driving around, still listening, still lurking, and oh, I'm just doing this. I'm doing my groceries.
Yeah.
and,
Well, but yeah, I mean,
and
definitely, I've done it. You know, gone shopping to Lidl or wherever, and you know, got the headphones in, watching Twitch or listening to Twitch while I'm sort of going around the shops, and every now and again you come out of lurk mode, don't you? Oh, what is this tune? Or
yeah,
this is a great tune,
yeah,
and you
definitely.
know, it's certainly when the pandemic when we are all shut down. I remember I was sat obviously doing a lot of streams, but also sitting in front watching a lot of streams. So yes, I was a lot more active in the chat. But like you say, things have moved on. But it's also interesting because we had a chat about what we thought might happen when sort of lockdown finished, and I think we sort of were like, well, the numbers will probably drop off. We'll see how it goes. You know, if it does drop off a lot, then we'll have a rethink. But it hasn't, which is brilliant. It's
No,
just the viewing figures are steadily going up. We're starting to get a few more raids, which is nice on a Saturday morning from different people, which is great.
yeah,
But it hasn't sort of stopped, which is what we thought might happen when lockdown finished. So, which has
yeah.
been
I mean,
pretty good.
I think like I say, I think the fact that we've been doing it now for 2 years and we have turned into a lot of people's Saturday morning or Saturday night in Australia's
Yeah,
go to video channels, stroke music channels, stroke. Let's come and just have a chat with the boys, ladies, whatever. I mean, like I say, I mean, it's not. We have plenty of people in Australia joining us. I mean, getting a bit further down from like after like when the guests are coming, especially from about 11 o'clock. We can get some of the early risers from America,
yeah.
or some of the people that just don't go to bed in America,
I know. It's
and
amazing,
and
isn't it?
and, and they'll be there when you start at like the 9
Yeah,
o'clock.
it's crazy. They're like, "Oh,
But
well, I'm in Colorado." So I'm like, "Well, what time's it there?" It's like, I was like
yeah,
3, 4 o'clock in the morning. You're like, "Okay, fair enough." You know, you've
and
obviously
they've
been out
become
partying or
regular
whatever.
now. Yeah, and they've become regular now.
Yeah,
They've gone out, they've gone and done their Friday night thing and what have you, and they've come home whether they're having like, cheese toasty and a cup of tea before they go to bed or whatever. They've gone and danced the Saturday night away, come
yeah.
home, just went, no, do you know what? I'll just bang on, and people are doing that. I mean, I
Yeah, so it's become almost So we've what we've created. So from being a show that was on during lockdown when there was nothing to do, we've become like a Saturday morning radio show effectively for the UK, and then an after hours channel, perhaps
yeah,
for America, and that. But yeah, no, it's been brilliant. But I think you've bet you're very popular on the show because you've got an amazing record collection. And I know you don't plan your sets in any way. But how do you sort of decide what you're going to play when you start? So obviously you've seen, it's usually me in front of you.
yeah.
Do you start with the first track and then go from there, or do you literally just grab whatever's around you?
I I start about so about I'll tune in the morning and what have you, and then I'll start turning everything on about 9:30 just to make sure everything's working,
Yeah.
sounds coming through, and what have you. Um, and the way I do that is with obviously yourself on, so
Mm.
I can set all my limits with you playing.
Yeah.
Um, make sure the camera's working, make sure that I've obviously changed flyers over and bits and bobs. Um, and then I'll look at records. So by about quarter to 10, I'll start looking at records. If one record's turned up during the week,
Yeah.
I'll go from that, and it'll literally be from I'll play that record because it's turned up this week. My record collection is in no way whatsoever in any order.
Yeah,
It literally is like the worst junk shop you've ever been in.
yeah, it's the same back here as well.
Um, but and I mean, obviously, I'll sometimes I can just go, oh right, well I've got that, and then I'll BPM it. So I have that shelving thing that I've got behind me with the drawers in.
Yeah.
All of those records within that are all BPM'd. So sometimes I'll BPM that first record and go, right, I need to be 105. So I'll just pick out as many tunes as I can, around about 40, 50 tunes between 100 and 110 to go with that 105, and I'll fluctuate between them. Other times I will not. I mean, this Saturday was terrible. I've never been so over the place this week. I think it was for me, it was one of the worst sets I've ever done. I just couldn't. I started off with some. I don't know what. I can't remember what I was playing this Saturday. I just remember being all over the fucking place.
I mean, it
And
can't have been as bad as the one. What was it? 45 Funksters, where your deck exploded, or was
the
it
other Monday,
the other Monday
yeah,
where suddenly
yeah,
the deck just sort of did something, and then you had to do a quick deck change, and then
yeah,
but this is part of Twitch. This is part of live broadcasting, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. I mean, with, I mean, I can't remember who. I think it was Sideshow. He turned because he wasn't watching the Funksters at the time. He was listening.
Oh, it's
And then
me.
when
It's
I put
me.
it,
Yeah.
oh, was it? And then he went, I didn't even know that would happen. He said, I wouldn't have even guessed that was in the set. And I went, no, I had to change a full turntable. And I think the only time that I know that we've done that was during the Coffee and Donuts with Rick and Mark Hype.
That was the Germany stream. Yeah, yeah,
Germany stream.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
it
yeah.
wasn't Coffee and Donuts, was it? It was the Germany
It
stream
was.
that we did on the thingy.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the only other time that I know of a turntable change over during a set, during a live Twitch. And I was just like, and I mean, obviously you asked me for the Funksters thing. You said, oh, can you just help us out tonight? I was like, yeah, no worries. Not doing
Yeah.
anything.
I
Wife was
think it
away,
was.
kids was away.
Yeah, I think I'd missed what had happened because I can't remember if you had the flyer up or something, or I was sort of looking away, finding my records, and I looked back and I was like, "Oh, you've got a different deck there, Marky." Because obviously you've got Vestax like me, and I love Vestax, and I was like,
Yeah,
"You've got a different Vestax. What happened there?" And then you're like, "Oh, the deck," and I was like, "Oh, okay, I've missed it." But yeah, that was crazy. But yeah, that Germany stream was brilliant. That sort of changeover of the deck, that
yeah.
Rick. I think the only other time I've seen it was I'm not sure it was live stream. It might have been a live, not Twitch, but it was Coco was doing I think the launch of the Technics Mark 7, and I think again there was some
All
sort of
right.
problem with the deck, and I think they did the same sort of thing. So he was here, and they had to sort of come in and sort of switch it round. And he obviously, true professional as he is,
Yeah,
just carried on without anything going
yeah,
on.
yeah,
But it's live broadcast. It's TV. Things are going to happen. Things are going to go wrong. Hopefully not too often. But it's part of the course, isn't it? It's part of the fun in a
yeah,
way. You
yeah,
know.
yeah. I mean, lucky for both the Germany one and for obviously for Coco, they had other
Yeah.
people there. I mean, I literally was there on me. Even the wife and the kids were away that night. I was just literally on my own in the house, and I was just like, and it was in the loft as well. The spare turntable was in the loft. So
Oh man.
you got a 3 minute record, and you've got to get into the loft, come down with the turntable from the loft, change it all around. It's like, oh, for sake.
Oh no,
But
that's when
hey,
you wish you played digital and you could just play a 10-minute trance track or something.
I was
Um,
just glad that I'm very used to taking turntables and setups to pieces
yeah,
on a regular. So,
exactly, exactly. And it's one of the things we were talking to. We did that spin-off show where we were talking to about the next generation of kids DJs, and it's one of the things
yeah,
I said. I gave a bit of advice to Arlo, and I said, make sure you know. I'm sure you do already, but make sure you know how to put it all together, like get your decks into your mixer and earth it and phonos and make sure and pack it all down, because you're going to go to gigs where it's just a dusty old pair of turntables in the back and you've got to put it together yourself. And I think, getting them to learn this stuff as early as possible so that they can do it, one, themselves, if they take their own gear out, but also secondly, dealing with whatever's at the venues. But
yeah, I mean, it is good to learn. I mean, I've gone to help people. I mean, there's a Sunday Soul crew
yeah,
that I helped for a few years. They couldn't set turntables up. Anything went wrong, they just stared at me as if to say like, help. And I used to have to, and I was literally a roadie for like these soul DJs for 4 years. But which is fine. It's not everybody's cup of
it's,
tea.
it's
Not
often
everybody
something
wants to
simple,
know
isn't
about
it?
that.
Yeah, but it's
Oh
often something
yeah, I
simple.
mean,
But because we've got the experience having done it, you're like, oh, well, yeah, you need to switch this over here, or you need to plug that in there, or plug that in there, and then you're like, there you go.
yeah,
But that's
yeah.
just experience.
I mean, this weekend and last weekend, I was DJing at like an outside park
Yeah,
festival. Well, it's not a festival. It was just me and a couple of like acoustic artists
nice.
for the last
Yeah,
couple of weeks in the park local to us. But a lot of people, a hell of a lot of people. But when we was doing the sound, it turned out that my mixer, for some reason, on the right hand side, had a small amount of interference and couldn't figure it out. So we was
yeah,
messing about with that, and you don't want people to hear that. Like you sound checking, can't see. So the simple thing for me was, what's it sound like in mono? And I went, oh. I went,
let's do it mono.
yeah, no, it's fine in mono. I went, it's a park. I went,
Exactly.
just play it through mono. I went, do it there. I'm not going to lose anything. I am not playing anything where all of a sudden it needs to be in this
Yeah,
super stereo
exactly.
sound. I went, stick it in
But
mono.
again, that's experience, and it's also turning something that could have been a problem into a solution. You're like, it doesn't have to be stereo; it can just be mono. It's like the festival I
Definitely,
went
yeah.
to. The festival I went to this weekend. It was like, yeah, we've definitely got decks at the 2 bars you're playing at, and then on the Thursday it was like, no, we haven't got decks. Can you bring yours? I was like, I'm not bringing decks to like this massive festival. So then I
Yeah,
just like started. I was like, right, I'm just going to digitize some of my sevens, download some of from Bandcamp, the sevens that I bought, some of the digital,
yeah.
and then I just did it as a digital set. What I found was weird is although I was playing the same music that I would be playing on sevens, it wasn't anywhere near as fun playing it on a CDJ as it is playing it on records. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just getting used to it, but it's interesting that it's the same music, a different format. Just gave that sort of different vibe in terms of sort of DJing.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I haven't touched CDJs for, I don't even know. I mean, probably Mark II, I think it was at the
Yeah,
last time so it was CDs. I've never done it with a dongle or whatever you use now, and I mean,
the
you just stick
USB.
one
Yeah,
dongle in, don't you, and it works between. See, I don't know. I had to play on my son. I borrowed my son's all-in-one thing, whatever you call
yeah.
them.
Control. Yeah,
Um, that's the one. That painting by numbers, really. It was. I was just literally playing one record to the end, and then
yeah.
playing the next one. That's all they wanted me to do, and that's all they got. And
Exactly.
it
That's
was
fine.
it did its job. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes you have to look at it and go, as much as I want to do that, I just need to do it. And certainly some of these things are because it's a job.
Yeah,
You've been asked to do a certain thing, and you have to do it in a certain way. And sometimes taking them sevens isn't always
the right thing.
ideal.
Yeah. No, exactly. I think you just got to know what you're being expected to do and how you're going to be doing it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean,
let's,
there's so many people that have said, even in the chat, and they've turned up with a box of sevens,
yeah,
and there's two CDJs there, and it's just like, well, what do you
yeah,
want me to do? I bought these, and some of the pros and some of the people like ourselves that have been doing it for years will have a dongle, will
exactly.
have
Yeah,
another way of doing it just in case, because you kind of think, well, have I actually seen turntables in that venue before? Because I can't remember anybody actually playing. And you have
yeah,
these sort of things in your mind when you get booked for things like that. So
Well, you ask as many times as possible to make sure you definitely got decks, yeah, definitely got decks, blah blah. And like you say, the beauty now is like you say, I carry a USB, but now I've got USB of stuff that I play as sevens as well, so it helps.
Yeah.
But let's talk about something slightly different. What I've really enjoyed is obviously booking the guests, and obviously we worked out and some of the specials we've done. We were talking. I was just talking to Lee Funky Flavors, and he said one of the best sets he's seen you do was when you played T's music because she was unwell. So you played her
Oh yeah.
45, you played her 45s instead of
Yeah.
you. But it's been brilliant, I think, being able to have T come on and DJ as well.
Yeah.
As well as your kids, Hey Boy and Hey Girl, getting them on the 45 kids. How's it been being able to share this sort of passion with your family?
When I met T, I was actually DJing at the time, but I was working for a father.
Right.
So she knew me as a person that collected music and the chats that we'd had previous to any kind of relationship, just as a friendship. When we did get together, she was like, oh, and I, the way that we courted, that makes it sound all bad, doesn't it? But the way was when she used to come round to my place, and we used to play each other records. We used to play because she was like, "Well, what do you listen to?" And I was like, "Well, I like these," and I'd play like 3 or 4 records and whatever. I said, "Well, what do you listen to?" And she'd play 3 or 4 of hers, and I mean, T's big into indie.
Yeah.
And 80s, obviously, and the 70s stuff as well. But because she grew up with them, and her and her mum, and have got this big long line of listening to music together. So she had this little collection and stuff, and she still got her original sevens that she had from being
amazing.
Hey Boy, Hey Girl age. You know what
Brilliant.
I mean? So
That's so
with
good.
Bonnie and Albert, like so. When I started DJing locally in Grimsby, we started doing these 20-minute sets locally called Vinyl Saturday. A mate of ours set up, and you used to just bring your records along and play 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And T just said, I really want to do it, and I was like, crack on, get 20 minutes. And so she studied the records and she went through them and all, and she's the way that she puts her sets together. She puts a playlist together in Spotify or in something digitally, and then she'll listen to it and make sure that it flows in her head with the way the tracks, and then she'll listen to it and then she'll go, "Oh, that'd fit in there." So completely the opposite to me, where I'll just pick a record and go from there. She's
a bit more planned. Yeah.
She's very planned. And that's how she does it. And then I got a DJ gig, and I said, "Oh, come on." It was a bank holiday, and I said, "Why don't you do an hour?" And she was just like, "Yeah, all right then, I'll do an hour." And then, honestly, it to see when she does these 80s sets, it's brilliant because we've got all these people turning up and gangs of blokes as well. And I just remember seeing this gang of about a dozen blokes. They're all there, pints, swearing, effing and jeffing a lot. Yeah. T drops Tiffany. I think it's Alone Now.
Amazing.
Every single one of them was dancing and singing along at the top of their voice, like 8-year-old girls in the 80s. I was pissing my pants.
That was brilliant.
And I was like, I went, and we had a mate of mine, he's a DMC winner. He's a guy called Fast T from Hull.
Right.
He was DJing as well with us on the same day. Like, I brought him over from Hull, and he was supposed to be going on. And I mean, this guy is skills to the max, and he just went, "I'm just going to leave her. She's in a zone."
Brilliant.
And I am not gonna go and ask for my 1 hour kind of slot. He went, I'm just gonna let it ride
Yeah.
all out, and I'll go in afterwards. And it was just like, yeah, all right. And so with the same thing, Club Tropicana's on, and her name is Rio, the whole lot. And yeah, and I mean, T's collection is varied. But she knows a tune, and she knows how to bloody drop them as well.
Yeah. Well, we definitely need to get her back on the show at some point soon. And then the kids as well. You know, I mean, it's amazing to see their confidence sort of growing as we do each of the 45 kid shows.
Yeah, I mean, they're not, and we don't. We obviously it's not a forced thing in any
No,
way,
not at all.
and Albert, as he was a baby, and um, he just followed me around with records and stuff like that, and now he's kind of dropped off that sort of thing, and he's fine. He's 6 years old. I mean, he's found Minecraft
Yeah,
and
yeah, of
making
course.
things with Lego and stuff like that. So he's kind of left it sort of thing at the minute. But I can be playing a record, and then all of a sudden, and I mean, you can sometimes see either Connie or Albert just come in and
Yeah,
dance at the side of you, sort of thing, and then they'll go, "What's this record?" And it's
yeah,
just like, "Oh, it's this one. Can you get me a copy?"
yeah,
And that's it. And it's just like,
yeah,
"Well, you can have this one." And I said, "I'll get another one," or and then to go, "I want a copy for my box."
yeah, yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's great, because they want that, and then hopefully that's their box that they'll have, like T's got from her childhood and what have you, and
Exactly.
that goes. So they've got a box each, and they come in, and if there's a record being played,
Yeah,
I'll either get it again, or I'll um, give them that copy. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
But it's
But
great. I mean,
it's
with all of them, ZZ, with JS, EV.
it's so exciting to see
There's
what they're gonna achieve. Like we've got, I mean, Lee. He had DJ Olive D. His daughter played
yeah,
out on down in Norwich with Evie Wonder and Martha. Grand Martha Flash,
yeah,
and then Tommy T's kids were there as well,
brilliant though.
TTT and Little
Yeah,
Flower. And then well, I met Olive on the show when I was chatting to Lee earlier on. And then she's going to come on the 45 kids show, the next one, which is going to be for Halloween again, because the last one was brilliant. All the kids had a brilliant time dressing
yeah.
up, and hopefully I've been
Where
chatting
else would you wear
to.
Ghostbusters 14 times?
But only we've got the pop-up version. Only we've got the pop-up record one,
Yeah,
unless someone's bought
you have.
it.
Yeah, yeah,
That's something that
yeah,
the best 2 or 3 quid I've spent ever. I've shown that off so many times. It's such a brilliant thing. But again, it's these sort of live events happening. And Sunday Get Down are coming back to Brighton, I think, in October. And I was chatting to you and at Ragcon, we might be able to do a little in-store possibly. Or if not, something else locally here. So yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see in 5-10 years' time, seeing what's going on with all these kids. They might have completely dropped it. They might still be doing it. They might come back to it later in life, further down the line. But I think we've instilled in them
yeah,
a joy of vinyl, and they know what vinyl is. I think there's a lot of kids out there who probably wouldn't know what it is. I was chatting to a guy who described himself as old at 27 at this festival. I was like, you're not old, mate. You're not old. And then I was saying, oh,
yeah,
I play 7-inch vinyl. He's like, what's that? What's that? And I was like, records. Well, yeah, sort of. Records that you play music on. Well, yeah. And I was like, well, they're the smaller version of those. They're called 7-inch vinyl. Yeah, sort of. I don't really know what you're talking about. I was like, that's crazy. But for us, because we
yeah,
do it all the time, I think there's that generation in the middle who are CDJs, MP3 streaming. And then I think because vinyl has
yeah,
been this revival, the next generation, which is our kids, is probably going to be more into it, and they know what records are. I think. I don't know. I might be wrong, but I think
yeah. I
that's
mean,
probably the way it's going to go.
there's there's still them youths that are still buying these albums from our price or whatever it is in. I don't even know what record shops are around now. Not
HMV,
HHP,
yeah,
is it?
HMV,
What?
I guess, and
HMV. I mean, we've got one in our local town centre, and there's never a 7-inch in there. They just
No.
reissue after reissue vinyl LP
Yeah.
at £45 a copy because it's
I
on
know. It's crazy.
pink
It's crazy.
splattered vinyl and what have you. But and probably sounds like Cocoa Pops. It's
Yeah.
but going back to people like I mean the next for the younger generation, you've got like I mean it's not even the next generation. I'm 50 years old next month, so it's 2 generations down probably with
Yeah.
Arlo, who's what is he 12,
12,
12
12,
coming
I
up to
know.
13, just turned 12, hasn't he? No, he's
He's
just
just
turned
turned
12.
12. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean it's just like for what I mean, what's he going to be like in 2, 3 years? I mean he's doing his
Yeah,
little scratching, his beat
assuming he
juggles,
carries it on. Yeah, because his brother is sort of stopped for now. She used to see
yeah,
both of them, but I think brother's probably hit teenage years and found other things to entertain himself with, which I fully understand. But yeah,
yeah.
it'd be interesting to see what happens with Arlo, because Arlo's, he's really good, and hopefully he'll just carry on. And who knows, he could become a DMC
He seems
champion.
thirsty for it as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he's got Twitch as well, which I love about it. Like when they did the, I think it was his birthday stream. I was on the raid event with him doing the birth stream, and I think they did right. Whenever you hear a song that says "Get Down," drop a "Get Down"
yeah,
emote, and that's really clever way of playing with Twitch and the emotes and that. And then they've done like the
yeah.
Lego videos and stuff. So
The
he's
Lego
at an age where
videos
he's
are
being
brilliant.
creative, and he's got an outlet that's direct, it's broadcasting, it's TV, and it's music and
Yeah.
visuals, and it's really good to see a kid thinking, right, what can I do with this platform?
I mean, all it takes is somebody to see that from people like who do the Lego movies, any of the Lego stuff, and go,
Yeah,
this 12-year-old kid's doing
yeah,
that now.
exactly.
What is he going to be doing in 5 years' time when he's left school and he's doing stuff? We want him because,
Exactly.
I
And
mean,
he
I don't
and they're
think
doing that.
there isn't a film now that Lego aren't copying.
Yeah, and he's doing that. They're doing that just with. I think they just literally just take photos and obviously then put it together. So that's so time consuming. If you could
Yeah,
get him in front of like a supercomputer or whatever they use, amazing graphics cards and all the rest of it, where they make these films. Imagine what you could do. But that's why it's
yeah,
great to push these youngsters up, because you just don't know what could happen, and it's all part of little step, little step, little step. Because I was talking to Lee about how you guys started the 45 Kings, then we did the 24-hour Twitch, and then we got Coffee and Donuts, and then that's led on to other shows like Reggae Fire, Sunday Sevens,
yeah,
raising awareness of mental health, the stuff I'm doing with the talk shows and like this, and
yeah.
then stuff like Bright as the Sun. I mean, on top of this, there's a monthly jazz show, which is 5 hours each month, and I don't know, would you have thought that a couple of years ago, that you'd be doing a monthly jazz show playing just 45s?
Again, this is typical Rob. So obviously, Rob gets in touch with me and says, "Oh, I think we should do this little group on Facebook, just a couple of people that'll just chat sevens, and yeah, we'll probably get 20, 30 people,
Yeah.
nerdy knobheads like ourselves. Yeah, 1,000 more people later. Yeah, oh, well done. But like I say, and we've said before, the community that's come out of that and the friendships that have been made through that are it's amazing. Um, Going on with the Bright as the Sun, that again he gets in touch and says, I want to do a Sunday morning jazz show. I went, okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Who are you gonna get with you? He went, well, I want you to play with me. I went, I don't play jazz.
Yeah.
He went, yeah, you do. And I went, no, I don't. And he went,
Yeah.
you've got so many jazz records. And I went, no, I haven't. We were literally going back and forth, and he's going, you have? I'm going, I am.
Yeah.
And he was just like, just go through your records and just do one. Let's see how it goes and everything else.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm going, oh, all right then, yeah, okay. Oh yeah, I've got that one. Yeah. Start going through the whole 7-inch collector going, oh yeah, by this time it's just going, right,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
right,
yeah, yeah,
going, oh, I have got quite a bit of jazz, yeah.
yeah.
But I had to say to him, I went, right, hang on a minute, because the way that you're calling jazz and I'm doing jazz, are we on the same page here? Because
Yeah.
mine are very loosely influenced or varied jazz, and then the excursion into jazz kind of thing. And I said, that I'm good.
Yeah.
But I went, if you want me to start playing solid blue notes, solid like traditional kind of, or any of that weird jazz that with 7 musicians all sound like they recorded something in 7 different rooms and then just put it in one pot. I went, I ain't having any of that.
Have you not
Freestyle
got
jazz,
that
that's
one? Have you
it.
not got that one on 45?
Freestyle jazz, isn't it weird? It's just like who can blow the trumpet the loudest, who can play the guitar the loudest, and who can make as much noise with a drum kit and a tin can. It's just like, no.
Yeah.
And people go, oh yeah, it's great, mate, it's great. I'm going, fucking isn't. It sounds like a right row. Saying that shit off, please. But
Brilliant.
it's so he's like, no excursions. And I was like, yeah, I'm good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm fine. And then he said, but I'd like to have all that kind of, and obviously with us knowing Mark Lancaster and Weege, and knowing that they played varieties of that, especially Mark. I mean, he was brought up on jazz, and
Yeah,
which
definitely.
we knew beforehand and stuff. So, and I mean, obviously his sets are completely different, and I think it's a varied thing. And then I think
Butchie came
we
along,
got
didn't he?
Butchie came in. I can't remember if we had Butchie as a guest. Because my memory's shot to shit. But
I think so. I think that's. I was
I
talking because I
think
was talking to
Butchie
Mark
came as a
Lancaster
guest,
about it.
and
But I
then
think he came as a guest, and then obviously again stayed. You know, it's what
and then
happens. You know,
and then I think there's a pattern emerging, isn't there?
there is.
So, but he fitted in well and stuff. And then like again, I was like, Butchie playing jazz. I mean, I know Butchie is like the edit king. He seems to find all the edits and stuff like that. But no, he's a
It,
closet
it,
jazz head.
it's brilliant. But I mean, even me, you know, when he first mentioned this, I was like, oh,
Yeah,
I don't think I can. And then I think there was one show where you guys had a slot, and I was like, you know what, I think I can maybe just about put together. And again, like you say, you go through, you start digging through, and you're like, actually, well, yeah, that's that, you know. And then like Soul Supreme stuff, and you know, some of the other stuff that's sampled by hip hop artists and all the rest. And you're like,
yeah,
actually, yeah, this is jazz, you know. Oh, I do like jazz, you know. It's that sort of
yeah,
and this is what I love about 45s because you know again no disrespect to any sort of digital DJs or not, but a lot of DJs obviously are you know into drum and bass or into house music or into techno or whatever. They tend to stay with that because of what we do. We have got genres all over the place. And you know,
yeah,
like you know, my sets are quite eclectic, and you know, I'll play hip hop, I'll play some funk, some reggae, Latin, whatever, in an hour set. And it allows us to explore these little avenues and go off down little tangents and little rabbit holes. And like Double P's got into reggae because you know I've played some reggae and stuff like that. But I love how we
yeah,
all inspire each other to
yeah,
grow as
definitely.
DJs and as collectors. You know, it's amazing how we all sort of give to each other and take and give back. Really.
Yeah, I mean, obviously my biggest inspiration. I actually pinched the name document for a night that I did in Grimsby
Yeah.
was Andy Smith. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously the document and now even more with the sevens and stuff like that. That's exactly what it is now.
Yeah.
We don't play a set genre, and Andy Smith was probably the first person, uh, or more of my realization that oh, he's just played that, and then he's played Tom Jones,
Yeah.
and then he's played Portishead, and then oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, if he can do that, I can do that. probably not as well, like, but I get the general gist of he's just broke this genre thing down, and it wasn't until then it was like that's brilliant, and big up to Andy Smith for that. I mean, he really opened my eyes in the way that, and because I have such a varied amount of genres and I've collected so many genres as well, it just worked for me even back then. So,
and it's amazing, isn't it, that because of what's happened with Twitch and the shows, that we've been able to have him as a guest on the
yeah,
show. And not just
yeah,
that, but then he then played when we met for the first time in person down in Chelmsford. He
yeah.
played, and we got to sort of hang out with him. I think you ended up driving him back to his hotel, didn't you? Chatting records and stuff like that.
Yeah. We
And
ended
that's
up
all off the back
getting,
of this. It's
yeah. I
crazy.
mean, we was chatting. We got out of the venue. They asked us to leave, sort of thing, at after o'clock in the morning, and it's like, all right, we've
Yeah,
got to lock up. And it was like, yeah. We're still outside chatting for another hour.
yeah.
And then he starts walking off with his box of records, sort of thing, and we was just going to the car. Went, Andy, where are you off? And he was just like, I've got an hotel. I'm going to get a cab to this hotel. And it was just like, where is it? And he said wherever it was, and Bounce just went, it's on the way.
Yeah.
Jump in, mate. And so we did. Unfortunately, Bounce misheard him and took us to completely the wrong hotel. The hotel that we were supposed to be going to wasn't on the way. It was on the other side of Chelmsford.
Right.
So when we get there, Andy Smith's going, this isn't it. I, I haven't been here before. He went, this is not the entrance I walked into earlier on. It's
Brilliant.
just like, are you sure? Have we come in the wrong way? This isn't it. So Danny's in the back, pissed up. Which one did you want? Oh, no, we want to be at the other end. Okay, let's
Amazing.
go.
Amazing. Well, you got some extra time chatting records. It's not about.
Yeah, and I mean, it was a
Oh,
complete, like, 2.5 hour of complete nerdiness
yeah.
chatting of what records you cannot get for love nor money, and
Yeah.
unless you've got deep pockets kind of nerdiness. So, yeah, brilliant.
It's been amazing, and it's so great, like you said earlier, being able to switch Twitch on and see these amazing DJs in your front room, in your studio, in your bedroom, wherever you're watching them. And it just wasn't available before, and it's amazing that it's still available and still happening. Obviously, not quite to the extent it was perhaps in the pandemic. But yeah, 100 shows. We've got some great guests lined up. I'm not going to reveal just yet, but we've got some great
Nope.
guests, and it's going to be a 12-hour session. So we are extending it from the normal 5 hours. But
We
before
needed
that,
to.
well, so many people want to play. But before that, we've celebrated the 3 years of the 45 Kings on Coffee and Donuts as well.
Yeah,
July, a few weeks ago, and then we've started doing getting people to do back-to-back sessions. So we've had a few of those, and we've had like a Swindon session where there's about 6 hours, and Mark Lancaster's done some stuff with Mock Funk, and you're doing something in a week or so's time, actually, aren't you? I think, and we'll speak
yeah.
later
So,
about that. But you've got a few people
yeah,
lined up to come to yours to do a
coming to
back-to-back
ours. Yeah,
session.
yeah,
So, which is great. And when we did the same sort of thing when we went up to Edinburgh for Scotty's, it was great because 6 blokes playing a few records each and just having a chat and moving around the room, interacting with each other. It was brilliant. And I said to Lee
yeah.
earlier, it's so good for your mental health, I think, because for those couple of hours you're not having to deal with everything else that's going on in the world and in your life, because you can just concentrate on the music and just talking about your passion.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously, my known health issues and bits and bobs. It's been great for me. It's
Yeah.
helped me no end. To the point of obviously the time when I went straight onto Twitch as soon as I come out of hospital.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so, but yeah, the mental health and like you say, we've always offered a safe space
Yeah.
within our chat room group within the collective as well. So and also within ourselves, and so many with having health issues and mental health issues and what have you else. And we're there to talk, and even if they don't want to talk to any of us, we've offered them a place, phone numbers,
Yeah.
whatever, to speak to someone completely random, because some people like to do that.
Yeah.
So, and it helps. And if we can help them, that's all good with us.
Definitely. I think that's definitely been one of the biggest bonuses and the biggest, things that I'm sort of most proud that we've been able to do. Certainly the mental health, and it's been really important because we've all been
Yeah, I
through a
mean,
lot. We've all been through our own individual stuff,
yeah,
but we've all combined been through quite a lot over the last couple of years dealing with this pandemic and everything that sort of flowed off the back of it.
yeah. I
And
mean, you've got people like Double P, good days, bad days,
yeah,
but he and like he said himself, he said that the groups helped him
definitely.
with
Yeah.
so many times and so often, and so that's great. Even if it was just one person,
Exactly. Yeah. If it was no one
it's
else and it was just Double P, the fact that he's been able to reach out, and I say this a lot, but if I meet people and they ask me what I'm doing and I'm talking about the talk shows, I say to him, I say to them, the talk show part of my journey, the mental health one, started because he'd sent me a message from James, his son, saying,
mm,
thank you to Criztoz and Fatwax for helping my dad
yeah,
through depression. And
yeah,
when I saw that, I was like, wow, that really hit me. And I was
yeah,
like, this is much more than just playing some records, much more than just a friendship. That we've somehow managed to make a difference in his life and to his son's
yeah,
life, to his wife's
yeah,
life,
yeah,
and I assume other people around him. And like you say, good days and bad days, and it's not easy, but in some small way we've helped him and maybe helped some other people, and it's yeah, that's
yeah.
what it's all about for me, I think.
Yeah, it has been for. I mean, like I say, we've always tried to spread the love, and like I say, the safe space for me was a very important, and for Rob as well. But that's for yourself, for all three of us.
Yeah.
It's always been a very very conscious thing that we've always tried to promote, and still will. Because,
Definitely.
like I say, I mean, it's one of those things that up until the pandemic, I never really knew about it. I've never really realised about it all, and what have you. And how bad and how varied it is.
Yeah,
And
it's
it's
definitely
not
opened up
just,
my eyes as well. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's one of them things where blinkers on sort of thing. It never happened to me, and oh well, I don't
And then
get
and then it
why.
does.
Yeah, and then
And
it
it does
does,
happen,
and
doesn't
then
it? It's
all of a sudden you got this thing going. Well, why are you upset about that? Or why are they? I don't get it. What's and then all of a sudden, I don't know whether it's an age thing or whether it's just, but it has helped, and I'm glad that in some respects that we've helped.
definitely.
And like I say, even if it was just that one person, even if it was just Double P, um, then that's amazing. But
Yeah,
I know, and we know that it's been more than just the one.
definitely.
So in that we can we've done well.
Yeah. On that very positive note, I'm going to say thank you. It's been a pleasure, as always, chatting to you.
Thank you
It's
very
been a
much.
pleasure being a co-host with you on the Coffee and Donuts. 100 shows, 2 years. It's yeah. Here's to the next year. Who knows where we're going
Yeah.
to be and what we're going to be doing in another year's time. But it's been amazing so far, and thank you for being part of it, and letting me be part of the group and run the
No.
Twitch and all of that stuff. It's all I'm
No, I
eternally
meant every word I
grateful.
said the other day. I put something in. I wrote something on
Yeah.
one of the platforms. You know me, I'm absolutely shit with
So,
social media.
yeah, you're getting better. You're definitely promoting stuff. It's fine. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I just never know. Again, good days, bad days. Sometimes I can type things. Sometimes
Yeah,
don't even want to go near it.
definitely.
So,
Cool.
but
All
there we
right.
go.
Well, Marky, take care,
All right,
and
mate. Same to you, mate.
I will see you on a stream very soon.
All right then, mate. Thank you very
Take
much.
it easy. Bye.
Bye bye.